They were accountable and responsible, which is why when they didn't show up to meetings, stop answering calls, and missed appointments, their friends immediately knew something was very wrong. What began as a missing persons case ended with the discovery of a monstrous crime. Our community has been left heartbroken, and the victims' families shattered after this tragic loss. I'm going to walk you through this case, and I want you to know, I knew from the very beginning we had two options: to find them or find the truth. On April 17th, the University of South Florida Police Department was notified that our first victim, had been reported missing. This was very unusual. Like I'd mentioned, she was responsible. She never missed her thesis appointments. She never missed work. She was responsive. So the University of South Florida Department, who I have to thank for being absolutely an incredible partner, Chief Daniels, the University of South Florida President, thank you. Thank you for your help in this case. They immediately started looking back and creating a timeline of when she was last seen. Video that we collected from the last time she had left the office in the afternoon on the day prior, on the 16th. The next day, on April 18th, we get a phone call from a concerned friend of Zamil saying, hey, he also is very responsible, dedicated, responsive, didn't answer his calls, didn't show up to his appointments. Something's wrong. Working so closely like we do with the University of South Florida Police Department, we immediately notice when our missing persons detectives and the detective that they have working at the university realize that, hey, these cases are connected. We should work them together, and that's when this collaborative effort started. So our detectives believe that the first stop should be back at our second victim's residence. So we go to Zamil's residence, where he lives with two roommates. One roommate continues to be elusive. The stories are inconsistent, almost to the point where he will talk about anything, loves to talk about himself, and this continues and carries throughout the entire investigation, except when we want to talk about either one of our two victims. Then he immediately starts becoming elusive and deceptive. The other roommate, we learn very quickly that he wasn't involved, begins to become extremely cooperative. And at that point, he, at the initial stages, when this is still a missing persons case, notifies us that something's wrong. The doormat by the door's missing. There's some pots and pans missing. So our detectives, as hard charging as they are, their first stop is the dumpster. They learned that the trash compactor in the complex hasn't been emptied yet in these couple days. This is where we get the first break in our case. We go out there dumpster diving. These detectives getting inside of the dumpster and empty the entire contents. And they find Zamil's glasses, his student ID, his wallet, and his clothes, which are extremely bloodied at the time. Again, this is where we get our first break. This is where, during this timeline, this missing persons becomes a missing person endangered case. Now we ramp up our efforts, because now we know, and you guys heard the same theory that we have that's been dispelled and unproven, that the two of them were in arranged marriage, that the two of them were in love, the two of them ran away together. We were able to dispel that immediately at this point, knowing that we're going a different direction. At the time, we believe that our now suspect was at just a point of interest. We needed more information. So we have enough evidence to get a search warrant. We go back to the residence and we serve the search warrant. And the search warrant's for the residence, for the roommates, both roommates' phones, for their person, and for their cars. They go into the residence, and we have some amazing technology, one of it being Blue Star, that identifies the presence of blood. And when they deploy Blue Star, they can see in the kitchen area there's a large pool of blood. They see that the blood continues down the hallway and into our suspect's bedroom. The technology is so precise and finite that we can see the outline of a human being on the floor next to our suspect's bed where he was curled up in a fetal position. We then examine his phone. His entire history had been wiped clean. No text messages, no emails, no GPS data. His search history totally cleared.